So the reason I bring this up is because recently, in the midst of the Dot Rotten and Wiley drama, Dot Rotten called for JME and Skepta to defend their scene, like to participate in the clashing culture that's synonymous with grime. And Skepta and JME stayed a bit on the quiet side. Now, this to me is unfortunate because that is in some respects going away from like the true essence of grime, which I always thought was like maybe just rap over an existing instrumental, or you know, perhaps not be too self-conscious about the end result. Just go out there, write the bars, and like put the songs out. Now, obviously, like JME and Skepta, I guess are thinking they have a reputation to uphold, and perhaps they don't want to saturate the market. But I think personally that more music should be put out. Grime MCs should be putting more work out, because ultimately you're making the music for the consumer. As much as JME was saying like he makes the music for his peers, I understand what he was getting at, because he's connecting to an emotion that's true to him and his peers, which then means that the consumer will like the music. But can you make the music accessible like to the fans, please? Because I mean, I downloaded it illegally because I don't have a CD player. And I think a lot of people are in a similar position. So, you know, I just feel like things have been misconstrued somewhere along the way, because I always thought grime was more sort of organic, if you will, as opposed to like being a bit more thought out. So I think what Dot and Wiley are doing right now is kind of a throwback to what grime should be, and I applaud them for that. I mean, ultimately they're not really saying that much like in the dubs. It's like your mum and your sister, because they don't have a lot to question about each other. I mean, musically, you know, they're two architects of the scene, so there isn't really too much to say. But it's just a bit of back and forth, and yeah, it's great, you know. And I can understand the point of like, if you put too many songs out, it kind of waters it down, and then the quality suffers. Like I've heard Skepta saying like quality over quantity and stuff, but can you just like put out a song, or like, I don't know. I hear songs, but I'm not hearing. I'm hearing features, but I'm not hearing grime records. Like, and I'm sure I've made this point before, but like, why not rap over existing grime instrumentals like classics? I mean, Stormzy took that blueprint. Bugsy Malone took that blueprint as well. Like, guys have done that, and they've been successful that way, you know. And I think that's sort of like how grime was built, isn't it? Because it was radio sets, it's rapping over beats that exist already. So you're not necessarily crafting a whole song and then spending all that time. I just feel like sporadic releases here and there, you know, like similar to what was happening a few years ago. Like Skepta might put like Top Boy out, or Jamie puts like If You Don't Know out, etc. And they're big moments, they're monumental moments, and you can look back and say, oh, that song doesn't fit like within my sort of timeline. But you know, ultimately the music is what people really want to hear, and all I really want to hear is grime music. And it's okay to do features, and it's all right. Take 2 years on an album, 4 years to do an album, you know. Despite Skepta saying in an interview he could do 2 albums a year, realistically. Like, if you can do two albums in a year, like, do 2 albums, because, and like, I'm not judging. I'm genuinely not judging, but just share your talent with the world as much as possible. And yeah, just write something down and just go over, you know, like, and then that way we will keep grime alive. So, and also, sorry, one more thing I will say is that I realize as well, it's quite hypocritical of Dot to talk about work ethic and, oh, I'm putting out these songs. You disappeared for how long? And now all of a sudden, like, you're making a triumphant return, which I still, to this day, believe might be partly inspired by the videos I was releasing, which really propped Dot up as well, like, and perhaps even reminded him of his status and like what he's done for the scene, because he came back with a new swagger. And if Dot didn't see the videos, then fair enough. But if he even saw 1 or 2 of the videos I did, the top 5s, you know, the Dot Rotten crushes Wiley, and so yeah, like, it's just bringing awareness and like reminding people of who they are. I feel like some of these videos, hopefully, like, are gonna remind these artists about grime and about what they used to represent and how they can carry that forward, use the foundations that they've built, and then push the culture forward, rather than building a foundation and then breaking it down, and then building it and breaking it down. I mean, how many times has that happened within the scene, within the grime scene? You know, I know it kind of comes and goes in waves, but let's just have consistent releases for 2020, which Dot, you know, go ahead, and all that stuff about fuck grime and that. Yeah, maybe, yeah, it's like Wiley said, yeah, grime is dead. It's so dead that it's not dead, you know. So I might even put that in somewhere in here.
Because do you know what? That's a good thing to say. Because if you say grime's dead, everyone will think, oh, is grime dead? Some people who know it ain't dead will say, no, it's not dead. Some people will go along and think, yeah, it is dead. And in that case, that will flush out all the people who shouldn't even be there. And then the people who shouldn't be there will remain. So when I look at them grime is dead t-shirts, sometimes I think, yeah, it's dead. Grime's so dead that it's not dead. That's not dead.
Yeah, so just keep pushing the culture forward. Releases, yeah, grime music, not these like trap, like Skepta coming in and it's a trap beat, or you know, like diversify by all means. And like also, I know it's like people would probably say like, who are you to say like what these guys should be doing? It's just my opinion, and I certainly wouldn't question the work ethic of someone in that position, because obviously if you're successful, I'm sure there's a lot going on outside of the music with regards to like the culture and everything else, because, you know, grime is about more than music, I suppose, as well. So look, I'm not totally biased in this, but as a consumer, I just want to hear more music. So I don't think grime artists are putting out enough music, but we'll see what happens going forward in 2020. So